Jeanette Hernandez. I am a 2001 graduate from the philosophy program here at NEIU, and I have been working for decades now in the Department of World Languages and Cultures, and as well as African and African American Studies, Latino and Latin American Studies, Women's and Gender and Sexuality Studies. So I'm a longtime member of the university community, and I'm very proud to be a philosophy grad. Well, philosophy doesn't just give you skills, it helps you sharpen existing skills, whether it's to build a fire, deconstruct a narrative, read a memo. Philosophy will sharpen your ability to learn a language, to write, which is essential, to reflect, and ultimately to understand our world. Probably my favorite memory was definitely the old guard instructors and faculty, Stan Kerr, Sarah Hoagland. They really taught us to think outside the box, and they introduced us to philosophies that are kind of outside the canon, such as Latin American philosophy, Eastern philosophy, women's philosophy. There are so many traditions out there other than Western, even though I realize that Western philosophy is huge and very influential. But I think my favorite memory is having my life cracked open by the works of Hannah Arendt. They were such eye-opening works that are so relevant today, so prescient to what is happening with democracy, about the erosion of democracy. She took apart the difference between power and violence, work and labor. She argued that violence destroys power. If you look at what's happening in the US, I mean, it seems like violence is the preferred course of action rather than power. So Arendt will help you understand that. And I feel very fortunate, very privileged to have been able to have had full courses on her. So yeah, I do have to give out a shout out to Dr. Mihich. Studying philosophy deepened my abstract thinking. It helped me to, of course, think more profoundly about things, even everyday matters. And that's always helpful, even in reading a book. I mean, like Alicia Garza wrote The Purpose of Power. And she engages that question, what is the purpose of power? At the end of the book, she comes to the conclusion that the purpose of power is to share with your community all your privileges, all your education, all your institutional knowledge or institutional access. I'm also a crafter, and I think I've grown as a crafter because philosophy has been helpful to fine-tune the message in my final product. They may be physical products, but I want them to have a certain appeal of like what I call the tailored hippie. And philosophy is helpful with that. I know it sounds like a contradiction, but I believe I can skirt that. I can straddle that. Well, philosophy is very versatile. We also have a great program. It can be instrumental to get into law school, religious studies, and don't be daunted by the prospect of having to read something that you find cynical, like Machiavelli's Prince, or by Thomas Hobbes' State of Nature, where he described life as nasty, brutish, and short, or by what's done with it, like Manifest Destiny. These are Western philosophical traditions, and there are many more traditions out there. I know in my time in philosophy, we were encouraged to seek those out. We were presented with those, particularly with Latin American philosophy, and it just widens your worldview. So, and for considering so many things you could use philosophy for, it is a major that it's hard to go wrong with it.